If we're not at a Disney park, we're dreaming about being there, and a cup of Joffrey's Coffee Disney Blend helps. But what about when you're at a Disney park? The Joffrey's Disney Kiosk and Restaurant Locator will make sure you never miss out, whether it's a cool drink on a hot summer vacation or a great cup of coffee at a Disney signature restaurant. Joffrey's has you covered. Check it out at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for downloading the show. If you've not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that right now while you're thinking about it. Right now, right here in Ohio, as I record this, it's bordering on what everybody out there will understand and get my reference. It is going to be Animal Kingdom hot in Northeast Ohio today. Today, about 95 degrees, I'm hearing, ultra-high humidity. And one thing you don't generally hear me complain about, and you won't today, is complain about the heat. I'll complain about the cold, because I'm just to the point now where it just kind of physically hurts me. But the heat, I would gladly wear shorts rather than put on a parka. So that's where we're at right now in Ohio. Animal Kingdom hot, and loving it. Before we get on with the show, speaking of temperatures, there's a couple sweepstakes out there I wanted to mention. Because we would like a looper to win these, so I want you to go out there and enter these sweepstakes. See if you can win. First, speaking of the temperatures, as I was saying, Disney Movie Rewards. I don't know if you've subscribed to this. It is a service from Disney where you can, buy their movies, watch them online type things. They have a contest now, or a sweepstakes, called the Disney Movie Rewards Disney's Frozen 2 Screening Sweepstakes. Now, the fun part about this is you enter for a chance to win. It's a private screening of Disney's Frozen 2 for you and up to 99 guests. I know that sounds crazy. 99 guests of yours get to see a screening of Frozen 2. Now, to enter this contest, you just go over to Disney Movie Rewards. I'll have a link in the description of the show. And you just have to sign into your account. If you've not had an account, you can just set one up. And I believe you can just use your normal Disney ID. So whatever you sign up with, generally to use your My Disney Experience app, you just log in here. You get one free entry into the contest. And the other ones, if you want more entries, generally if you've earned like points for purchases in the past, you can apply those, get extra points towards entries to enter this contest. And hopefully if you win this, maybe I could be one of your 99 friends. That'd be fantastic. And what does it say here about escape to Arendelle and experience an unforgettable Frozen 2 film screening with family and friends. Frozen 2 Electric Boogaloo is, I believe, how that's going to be. Before I move on, that sweepstakes, the Frozen 2, it goes through August 31st. So we got to make sure you, August 31st, 2019, that's your entry points. You got to enter that before there. Moving on, McDonald's also has a sweepstakes out involving getting a trip to, this one's a trip to Disney, by the way, trip to Walt Disney World. McDonald's says, make memorable moments for your pride with a Happy Meal. It says, parents, you can win a family vacation for 4 to the Walt Disney World Resort to continue your Lion King adventure. Plus, you can win millions of other Happy Meal, food items, yada, yada, yada. But here's the important piece for us. Get a game piece with each Lion King Happy Meal. Then you have to use the McDonald's app to scan the code and use that to enter for your chance to win. Then you earn credits for even more family fun in their reward zone. I heard they were going to have gift cards, but I don't see that in the article. But to win a trip for 4 to Walt Disney World, maybe pick up a Happy Meal. Earlier in the week, we reported there was a rumor. We didn't say it was news and going to happen, but we did say there was a rumor about the whole Tesla thing coming to Tomorrowland Speedway. Apparently, that caused a whole big stir over at the Disney ecosphere because the WDW Today official Twitter account had to debunk the rumor. This is fantastic. They've been doing that a lot recently. But for some reason, Disney's not a big fan of these rumors getting out. But there's an article in Teslarati, which was initially shared by the Just Disney site, which we had mentioned. It said that Elon Musk, we all know him, was going to be developing a Tomorrowland Speedway attraction using all electric cars, cooperating with Disney. And someone actually put a tweet out to Disney and WDW today saying that Tesla to make Tomorrowland electric in a new partnership with Disney. Is this a thing, WDW today? We are excited about the possibility, and they came right back and said, thank you for sharing your interest in this, but yada, 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 it's not true. Now, while I said before, Disney's big about debunking these rumors, this rumor seems to make too much sense, like it's a good idea. The only thing I can think of is maybe it's not Tesla and another company's going to be maybe, using it to advertise their electric cars. I mean, Disney has a track record with GM. Maybe GM's going to come out. Maybe, they have the Bolt car and a couple things like that. Maybe it's another car altogether. I say we stay seated on this one because this one still makes too much sense, and I'm wondering if somebody just kind of broke a non-disclosure agreement and maybe it's just damage control. So I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying let's just keep an eye on it and see if anything happens in the future. Okay, I wanted to get into the topic for this show. Earlier this week, I was talking to a friend at work, and I was trying to explain, the minivan. How do the minivans work? And I thought, let's go over this on the show. Let's just put it out there. Let's do a kind of a show on the minivan and what happens. If you go to the Disney website, you're going to see they say the minivan is connected by Lyft. Now, we're all aware of Uber and Lyft, and Disney, for their minivans, have decided to not initially, but when they started off, they used the Lyft app. There wasn't actually a partnership too much. Since then, Lyft has become the official ride share for Walt Disney World. But in order to use the minivans, you need to have the Lyft app installed on your phone. You need to have a method of payment set up in the app all ready to go. So if you're planning on, going down and doing that, just, sign up for Lyft now, have it all installed, set up your method of payment, put in your credit card, all your information, so you're good to go once you get there. Now, they say that get around in a jiffy in a new whimsical personal ride service. Just use your smartphone to request a ride. If you happen to have a smartphone, if you don't have a smartphone, I believe you can call them, but I think pretty much most people have a smartphone. Before we go into that, let's talk about what the minivan is. The minivan is a private ride-sharing service. So it's like the Lyft, but these are actually Walt Disney World owned vehicles driven by Walt Disney World cast members. And I'm going to mention this out of the box. The couple of times, which maybe it's been about 3 times now, maybe 4 times I've taken the minivans, the drivers have been fantastic. Super friendly, super knowledgeable, makes you feel right at home. It's a pleasure to just maybe chit-chat with them to your destination. They'll tell you the park hours, any information or questions you might have. They've never been able to not answer a question that I have posed to them. Now, since the drivers are cast members, a lot of people feel a lot more secure knowing that the drivers are Disney employees and they're not your standard Uber or Lyft drivers, kind of people off the street. These people have been trained by Disney. They know the quickest way to get everywhere. Not that there's anything wrong with this, Uber or Lyft. If you're comfortable taking them, that's definitely an option to get around the park. But another one of these perks with the minivans, most of the time, they can get you a lot closer to where you want to be with a more advantageous drop-off zone or a pickup zone. I'm going to talk about that one a little bit later also. Now, initially, when these vans came out, I don't know if you'll remember the minivans, I believe it was a $20 flat fee to get from point A to point B anywhere on Disney property. Then they went up to $25 for the point A to point B. Didn't matter where it was. Now, within the past maybe a year or so, maybe a little bit more than that, a little less than that, they went to it's distance base. So if you're going from one end of the property, say like the Magic Kingdom, to the clear other end of the property, like one of the All-Stars, it's going to be a little bit pricier. I think there might be a little bit of surge pricing involved depending on the time of the day. I think it might also involve how many people are looking for minivans at that time. So I think if you're lucky, your base price is going to be maybe around $30. Now, there's no commitment. Once you bring up the app, before you summon your vehicle or request it to pick you up, it'll give you the price on there, so you'll know what you're going to pay for your from your location you're at to your destination. So that's something to be aware of, that just because you're looking at the prices, you're not committing until you actually hit the button saying, yes, I want this ride. Now, as long as we're talking about cost, I think we need to talk about tipping real quick. I've been read many different places, and actually I had a driver tell me once, because I was tipping him a couple bucks in cash. He said, "Oh, sir, this is not necessary." I said, "No, I want you to have it. It was you made it very delightful for us to get back to our resort." And they took it. It was great. I had no problem giving it. I don't think it's necessarily expected, But if you'd like to tip in cash, I think you can do that. I'm not sure if you can tip in the app. I heard you could from somebody, and then I heard somewhere you can't. I'm not that familiar. I only ever use this Lyft app for the minivans. So, and then if I tip, I usually tip a couple bucks. So don't feel like you need to tip. But, if you think the service was worth it, I think it'd be appreciated. Again, not required. Now, Tim, you're saying, why would I want to take a minivan when Disney already includes plenty of other forms of free transportation for me? They have monorails, they have buses, they even have gondolas real soon. I think one of the things we need to actually consider, let's take a look at a couple different things here. One is where are you going? Are you just going into the park? Are you going into a special event? Are you going to maybe a nice dinner somewhere? Because now if you're going to be staying at Pop or Caribbean Beach and you're going to the studios or Epcot, with the Skyliner now, there's really no reason probably to take a minivan. If you're at the Wilderness Lodge and you're going to the Magic Kingdom, take the boat. That's a great boat ride. It's quick, it's free. It's a wonderful ride, by the way. You're at the Contemporary and you're going to Ohana's for dinner. Hey, there's no reason to take a minivan there. But look at this from another perspective. Say you are at, and I checked this out, I called to make sure this is possible. You're staying at a campsite in Fort Wilderness, and you're going to a dinner at Victoria and Albert's. The minivan will pick you up at your campsite. At your campsite, you don't even have to go to the bus stop. And take you right to Victoria and Albert's, and then if you want to go back, granted, that's probably, depending on what's going on, 30, maybe 40 bucks each way. But, if this is going to be a special night, you don't want to get all sweaty and you're all dressed up, that might be a nice little perk. Say you've had a long day. This happened to us. We were at the Magic Kingdom after touring all day, long day, lots of walking, sore, and we were staying at Old Key West. The minivan was fantastic because, it picks you up right there at the bus loop at the Magic Kingdom, and then it drops you off right in front of your building at Old Key West, and we did this at Saratoga Springs also. So if you're somewhere out a little bit, and you would have like a long walk from, maybe where the bus stop is, because sometimes the bus stop's not exactly right next to your building. It could be, that's a good option there. It's a good place to take advantage of the minivan, and it could be worth it. Like I said, after a long day, you don't have to wait for a bus. You have to maybe wait for a monorail. You don't have to wait for another boat. Just something to consider. It just seems to me, with the Magical Express now, and you don't need to rent a car, you might not want to rent a car, and you don't want to pay for parking. I'm thinking of if you're staying at a resort, where you're paying deluxe prices, or even the moderate prices. All these prices went up. You could take that money you would have paid for parking and enjoy the convenience of a minivan. A minivan's probably not an everyday of your trip thing, but maybe once or twice, a nice little treat. Save yourself some time. Make yourself feel like a VIP. I'm getting in my minivan. Plus, you get that picture of you in front of the minivan. You can Instagram that. You can post it over at Looper Nation Live. Just something to think about. Now, is the minivan optional? Yes. Is it an extra cost? Yes. But this kind of gets into a formula that what's it cost versus what's it worth? Granted, maybe it's cost $30 for your family to go from Epcot back to your hotel room. But it's the end of the day. If people are hot, people are cranky, you might be thinking, I pay $100 to get back to the hotel room quicker. So yeah, you got to figure out there's a cost, but is it worth it to do once? A couple things to think about before we move on here. The minivan runs from about, I believe it's 6 a.m. I'm sorry, that runs from 6:30 in the morning until 12:30 a.m. daily, and that's subject to change. So if you're going to count on that, you might just want to check, just the same day or right before your vacation, make sure that's not changed. And the vehicles sit up to 5 people. That's not including any kind of bags or anything. And then if you have a separate, baggage or wheelchairs, or you need a special accessibility minivan, the room for a wheelchair or a scooter, you need to call their special minivan hotline, area code 407-828-3500. So call that number if you need an accessible minivan. And I believe those vehicles will only sit 4 people because they allow room for the ECV or wheelchair that you have with you. Now, I know right now I've concentrated on the minivans. There's a lot of minivan talk, by the way. At the Walt Disney World Resort, getting from, theme park to resort, that kind of thing. The minivans are now able to be used if you want to go to Orlando Airport, MCO, or if you're going to Port Canaveral to get on the cruise. If you're going to use the minivan to go to the airport, the criteria are this. Now, if you're going to use the minivan to go to MCO, two important rules here. If you're traveling domestically, you got to request to pick up at least 2 hours before your flight. And if you're going internationally, at least 3 hours before your flight. Also, according to Disney, the minivans, they're roomy, comfortable, themed, and can accommodate up to 6 guests with 6 medium suitcases and can be equipped with up to 3 complimentary car seats if you're traveling with 3 children. And then the bags using the minivans have to be used on the minivans. You cannot send your bags separately on Disney's Magical Express. That's just their rule. But the cost of the minivan, the airport shuttle, one way, $150. Gratuity is not included in that. So that is another pricey option to get to and from the airport. $150 each way. Minivan will only go between 6 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. So if your flight's coming in a red eye in the middle of the night, you probably won't have it, but just something to be aware of. Once again, you make those reservations using 407 WDW Play. And if you have to cancel within 24 hours, I'm sure you're going to lose your deposit on that. Now, if you're traveling to Port Canaveral, the price one way for a minivan is $240. Again, it sounds pricey, $240, but I believe the transfers are maybe $50 each way per person, something like that, depending on what you're using. So you get kind of close, but it's kind of nice to have that private vehicle, maybe as opposed to riding a bus if you're not into that. Just something to consider, kind of the same thing. $240 one way, no gratuity, 6 guests in one minivan. With the bags, if you have extra bags, you might just want to call and make sure you have room for everybody. You don't want to get there and all of a sudden, find out you need 2 minivans, or somebody's going to have to take the bus or something like that. The payment, again, taken when you make the reservation, just like going to the airport. And if you're less than 24 hours canceling, you'll lose the payment. And generally, the day before, I believe the minivan staff will call you just to make sure, confirm everything, and make sure everything's good. And also, I want to get back to the airline real quick. If you happen to be doing it from the airport, they will want your flight information just so they can monitor your flight and know when you're getting there. Again, minivans are a great option, extra. You don't need them. If you want to try them once, see if you like them. Maybe you want to use them down the road. I'm not sure I would necessarily want to use them from the airport. Maybe to the cruise. If I had I would maybe consider it for the cruise. Maybe I'd want to take the minivan to the cruise from my resort, and maybe just use a regular bus transfer back, or maybe just use regular transfer back to the airport. We'll see how we're feeling. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the minivan. Just want to get a lot of information out there. Something to consider. I know you see them all driving around the property. They look fantastic. They look like they'd be fun. They are fun. Are they worth it? I think that's up to every individual to see. Try it once. Let us know. Have you used it? Let us know over at Looper Nation Live. If you're considering using it, would you use it? Has anybody used it to go to a cruise? That's something I'm going to keep an eye out on. That could be an awesome way to go. Once again, I'll put the contest links up on the website with a show post. Oh, by the way, before I get away, Jim McNair just sent out another great post. Be sure to check him out over at Looper Nation. Not Looper Nation Live. Well, he's on Looper Nation Live, but you can also find him on ResortLoop.com under the blog. Great article. He's planning a good trip, and I think I might want to travel with him. I'm not sure he'll notice I'm along, but he will notice when he pays for the check for all the food I'll be eating. Everybody, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. Idea for a show, just send it to me. Everybody, please go out there and share the gateway to the magic. See you, everybody. Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.